All right, we're live. Yeah, we're live. So I'm on a little late today, but that's okay. We are still going to get right into it, discuss what's going on. Hopefully we're not too far behind here. Let me get up my trading software real quick. But hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a great day. We're almost at 100 subscribers. It's about so cool. What just happened? I don't know. I guess the stream disconnected for a second, but I guess we're good. Anyway, just a great day today. A great day. So let's talk about what's going on. Now, let's draw out our ranges, our session ranges. We had Asia from 20 until midnight. All right. And then we had London from 2 until 5. It looks like we came up to Asia's high and we actually just barely missed it. That's crazy. So we came up almost to Asia's high and we didn't hit it. It's really interesting. But something that I noticed before I came on stream is there's a ton of relatively equal highs. There's these relatively equal highs. So these are the most obvious ones. But they're hard to miss. These relatively equal highs. A very clear draw on liquidity. So there could be a lot of opportunity today. Now, let's take a look at the midnight open. We're below the midnight open. So I'm trying to figure out what daily profile this is called, but it seems like it's just like a classic AMD. Because this seems like accumulation, manipulation, distribution, but I'm trying to figure out what this is called. Or maybe I don't know for sure if that's what this is, but we'll see. We are pushing into this order block, so this is a very clear order block, right? Because we swept all this liquidity with this order block, and actually this is a breaker block right here. I think this breaker block is actually a little better. So and then it overlaps with this fair value gap. So we got the breaker block, fair value gap, and we got these relatively equal highs up here. Seems to me like we're gonna go run these relatively equal highs. We have this 30-second gap. This could be a good gap to see inverse, but I hate making a decision so fast. 30-second gap. If that inverses, I think that's good. I don't know. Do we have news today? Yeah, there's no external gap. This 30-second gap should be good, honestly. Especially coming off of this breaker block and this order block. I guess there's a 15-minute gap here, but on the low time frame, this is all low resistance liquidity. I guess there's this gap. There's this 1 minute gap. So I'm not sure. Let's keep looking. Yeah, this seems like a breaker block, doesn't it? Right? You have this. This is the breaker block. Definitely seems like a breaker block. So if this 30-second inverses, I would say this is good. Stop loss. Are those relatively equal lows? That's not good. Oh yeah, there's relatively equal lows there. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna do anything. Why is there gotta be relatively equal lows there? That's so stupid. So I'm guessing market's gonna open and take out these relatively equal lows, and then we'll sweep them, and then we'll get some internal sweep, and then we'll come back up at that point. I'm looking for SMTs right now. So this is 730. No SMT there. 908, 921. 908, 921. The S&P though does not look bullish. This looks not as good. So I don't know. Let's get rid of this, honestly. Let's keep an open mind to being bearish right now, because this is possibly gonna be, if this inverses, then that could get interesting. But it looks like, to be honest, it looks like it's respecting it. See how it wicked into the breaker block? So it looks like it's respecting it. It's 15-minute for value gap. And there's equal highs above. I just want to see these equal lows get swept. Like, I want to see another push into the breaker. And then an internal sweep. And that would be like, that'd be perfect. Like, if we can come back down and sweep these equal lows, that would give me so much more confidence. But with equal lows like this, it's concerning. I want to see an internal sweep here and sweep these internal lows. I don't know why there's equal lows here. The market open? No, it's 5 minutes from now. But this does look like, honestly, like an AMD kind of day, where you have just like accumulation, manipulation, and then possibly distribution. With these equal highs here, and the previous month's previous month's high is still the draw on liquidity, right? See, previous month's high right here. It's the draw on liquidity. We have not reached the objective yet. Oh, let's draw the 8:30 open. So what is this? The midnight open? Yeah, I have a feeling that we're not just going to leave those equal lows. I think we're going to come down and have another sweep. At that point, honestly, it could be like a turtle soup where you like, I feel like that could be a turtle soup entry, but I don't really know turtle soups well enough to know, but I feel like that could be a turtle soup. Midnight open and 8:30 open are very close to each other. So this definitely seems like an AMD kind of day. So I think that 30-second gap inverse, but once again, I don't want to do anything with these relatively equal lows down here. It's just does not make sense to have that, so we're not going to do anything. But this 30-second gap did inverse, so let's see what happens off of this inverse fair value gap, right? Because we inversed. I could see a push up higher and then another manipulation down around like 950, and then at which point this would be like turtle soup, and then take out these relatively equal lows, and then maybe we get an SMT or something. That'd make a lot of sense. These are 910. There's already an SMT right now, actually. 930. But I don't know why there's relatively equal lows. There should not be relatively equal lows there. I think we have to come back down. Market opens in 1 minute. We might go dump, or we might go this. We might not dump until later, but we'll see. Or maybe we'll go straight up. I don't know. But it's too weird to have these relatively equal lows. So I'm just not doing anything. Okay, so your TP1 would have been hit on this trade if you did take this trade. Now you'd move your stop loss to break even. But with relatively equal lows, it's just does not make a lot of sense, honestly. So yeah, I'm hoping now we can come get rejected by this gap here, like this 3-minute gap. I'm hoping we just get rejected by this gap, form some kind of lower low below these relatively equal lows, and then this is a breaker block, isn't it? A low, a high, a low, a higher high. That's yeah, this is a breaker block. Oh my gosh, wait, this could be a trade in and of itself. Oh wait, this is a trade by itself. Oh guys, this is a trade because high, low, higher high that sweeps liquidity, lower low. Oh yeah, this is yeah, and then it lines with a fair value gap down to these relatively equal lows. Let's see if this would work out. I'm not taking this. We're just tape reading this because I would prefer to get a long setup here. I'm not taking it. Yeah, I didn't take it. I'll be back. Yep, told you that relatively equal lows down there. Just they need to get taken out. But that breaker block entry would not have worked, which is interesting because this is a high, a low, a higher high that sweeps liquidity, a lower low. So this is a breaker block. So I'm surprised that with these relatively equal lows that this didn't hold, especially with the overlapping with this fair value gap. But I guess it did eventually reject price after it swept this high. It's surprising, but it's probably just a losing trade. Like, why do we have these relatively equal lows here? I feel like we're going to come back down, manipulate, and take them out. And it's really the only thing that makes sense to me right now. Because we got relatively equal highs, and we have relatively equal lows. So, like, I think what makes the most sense is we take out these relatively equal lows first, sweep this low, and then take out the relatively equal highs. But we'll see. Because the high time frame draw on liquidity is previous month's high. At least I think it is. And with that in mind, price wants to go up, so it's probably going to sweep down before it goes up. Right? That's what makes sense to me. This is I guess kind of like a 1 hour order block. You see this breaker block did support price. But question is, are we gonna need to come down and sweep this low or not? That's what I'm wondering. Right now, I'm just being a market observer. I'm not taking anything. Oh yeah, did we have news today? Oh, there's just a speaker at 2. That's like way later. So this breaker block is definitely supporting price. See this? High, low, that sweeps this liquidity. Higher high, push back into the breaker. I'm just wondering if we're going to test it again because of these equal lows. And we have these relatively equal highs up here. There's this fair value gap. Maybe price wants to come down there. Oh yeah. There's this 1 hour fair value gap. So we could be, it's possible we could be sweeping Asia and London, and we could come down here. Just trying to keep an open mind right now. Because we don't have to go straight to the relatively equal highs. Five-minute SMT. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep an open mind right now. This is the SMT. Yeah, it's this SMT, right? That's the SMT you're talking about. Yeah. I noted out here that this is essentially like right here, this is like a breaker block aligned with the fair value gap. So this high, low, higher high, push back into this breaker block and fair value gap. My only reason I'm not necessarily like totally convinced we're gonna go straight up is because of these relatively equal lows, and so I'm like kind of undecided right now, because there's relatively equal lows here and there's relatively equal highs here and like all through here. So right now I'm just watching. I'm not gonna jump into anything. Just trying to be patient and only take the amazing setups if they present themselves. So yeah, but like I've been saying, I'm still a trader and learning. So if I mess up, if I do anything wrong, I'm just getting better with you, bro. Like I have been getting so much better though in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like I'm very much on track to being profitable, hopefully very, very soon. Breaker structure. Yep. I'm gonna get rid of these. It's kind of a little much. So looks like we're coming back down. See, I said this earlier. I said this like 30 minutes ago, but I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we want to come down around like 9:50 to 10 a.m., take out these relatively equal lows, and then move up. That'd be very typical. But I also am trying to keep an open mind. I'm like, we did sweep Asia and London's highs, so maybe we're trying to go to this 1 hour per value gap. And so I'm just really, really keeping an open mind right now and only taking what makes sense. Right now I'm kind of undecided with these relatively equal lows and relatively equal highs. It's like, I'm not sure. I've been trying to figure out like what kind of daily profile this is. And at first I was like maybe AMD, because you have accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. But I don't know, dude. I'm just gaining experience every day, so yeah, it looks like we are possibly going to come down to these relatively equal lows. So kind of exactly what I thought. We swept this high. And this sweep also swept like all this as well. So high, low, higher, high, lower, low. This is like a breaker block. Let's see if price reacts off of this. It's not really overlapped with the fair value gap at all, but we'll see. Last time I outlined a breaker, it didn't work at all, so I'm still getting better with breakers, honestly. I'm not gonna be bullish until these relatively equal lows get taken out. Like, it just goes against my rules. Like, I'm not gonna, even though I'm bullish, I'm not gonna go long until these relatively equal lows get taken out. It just automatically makes it so much more lower probability if these relatively equal lows don't get taken out. Like, that's an issue to me. But this breaker looks like so far is rejecting, so it's interesting. So, like, maybe someone's in a trade like this. And probably TP1 here. And the rest off here. It's always good to tape read even if you're not in a trade, just to get experience and practice. It's coming back up now, so I don't really know. Gaining experience with breaker blocks. I'm trying to stick to inverse fair value gaps because that's really where I feel the most comfortable is inverse fair value gaps. When I like deviate from what I'm really good with, it can start to be like, I don't know. That's where if you don't stick to one model or one strategy, or at least models that you're really comfortable with and good at, you're doing yourself a disservice because you just want to focus on being profitable, right? So, like, I'm trying to stick to inverse fair value gaps, but it is kind of nice to outline, like, breaker blocks, this kind of stuff that I'm watching, so, like, I can get better in real time, and then eventually I can build up to taking breaker block entries, I can build up to taking unicorn setups, that kind of thing. But right now I'm mostly trying to stick to inverse fair value gaps. But so far, this looks like it could be playing out. This would probably be TP. My guess is this would be your TP1 and stop loss to break even. If you were taking this trade. I don't know. Now it's going back up. And now it's going back up. I'd probably have moved my stop loss to break even at that point, honestly, because it's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of like, I'm not in this trade, so I'm not like worried at all. It's just like I'm just trying to get better. Waiting for 5-minute SMT on ES. Bullish or bearish SMT? For bullish SMT? Yeah, I'm waiting for a bullish SMT. I'm waiting for, honestly, I want to see us come down and take these equal lows, and then I'll be pretty happy with being bullish. Especially because this is a breaker block right here on the higher time frame. This gray area I have outlined. So if I go to the 1 minute, so the 9:10 a.m. low is right here. Like, it is forming a bullish SMT currently, but if it takes this 9:10 a.m. low, then it's not going to be a bullish SMT anymore, which is going to be interesting. Okay, so TP1 and stop loss to break even just hit on this tape read trade. We'll see if TP2 would hit. But yeah, definitely just tape reading this because I am honestly bullish. We're pushing into, as well with this being a breaker block, it's an order block as well. So I just want to see us kind of sweep these lows and push back into this order block and breaker block, and then I think that'd be pretty good. But it is coming, price is coming back up now. So I guess you would have got stopped at a break even. So I guess you would have made money, but it sucks you got stopped at break even. Good tape read. Good to get some practice with it. We have the macro right now, so like we are forming a bullish SMT like you said. It's just like just a little weird to me that we left equal lows. So yeah, 910 low, 950 low, 910, 950. Like it's an SMT right now, but if it comes down to these equal lows, then it won't be. Yeah, look at how it's just like chopping right now. Like there's no light bulb like in your head right now when you see this kind of price action. It's just like total chop. So I'm not taking a trade in this. This almost seems like an accumulation, like a low time frame accumulation range. So if we get some kind of manipulation down, it'd make a lot of sense with this being kind of accumulation, manipulation, maybe distribution. Especially because we're going into 9:50, 10 a.m. right now. So this would be a pretty key time to see this happen here. See if we come down and sweep this low. So if you held that breaker block trade, it'd be working out again. But I don't think that breaker block trade is like the best, because it's just like you're in this chop, so it's not really like anything amazing. Okay. So this, we're coming back into discount. Like, I can't tell if this is like sweeping this highs to distribute down, or if we're gonna sweep these lows and then come back up. It's equal highs here though is the thing. Yo, what up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, bro, we're just talking right now. It seems like a lot of chop. We're trying to figure out what's going on. I'm not really taking anything until there's like a light bulb, you know. What are you thinking about price action? It's kind of like, to me, it's just like, it's hard because you have relatively equal lows here, but then you have relatively equal highs up here. So kind of in like a weird spot where there's like no light bulb going on in my head right now. I'm just like, just kind of watching. Like, I'm kind of thinking we could come down and sweep these lows, but then that we wouldn't have this SMT anymore. So I'm not sure. And just so you know, Farishizo, I'm still on like my journey to profitability. I would say I've gotten a lot better in the past 3 weeks, like significantly better, but I'm not going to mislead anyone and tell people that I'm for sure profitable, because I'm still in the phase. Yeah, exactly. It seems like 50-50. I'm still in this phase where I'm like just exponentially getting better, but I'm not going to say I'm profitable yet, you know? So, but it's always nice to just have people to trade with, watch the market, and get better, dude. Every day we're going to get better, and yeah, it's exciting this journey we're on. We're going to be profitable, dude. Yeah, so this is exactly what I said was going to happen. Like 30 minutes ago, I was like, we have these equal lows. I could see us coming down and manipulating. When did you start this? I've been doing videos for like 2 weeks, and I've been live streaming every day for about 2 weeks. So, well, when did I start trading? Oh, I've been trading for 14 months. I would say I'm definitely very close to profitability. Like, I have all the models I need. Like, I trade inverse for value gaps. So yeah, we just started dumping, so this didn't hold. Or yeah. So like I was saying earlier, this 1 hour for value gap seems like a pretty good area. Seems like we did end up sweeping London and Asia's highs, and now possibly we're going to distribute down during this macro. So this 1 hour for value gap seems very nice now. Very nice. And then possibly we'll come back up later on and take these relatively equal highs. Like I said, bro, I'm not profitable yet. Like, I'm still in the in-between phase, but I'm so close, dude. I'm so close. I've exponentially gotten better since I started making these videos in the past 2 weeks. I'm like seriously getting so much better. So I'm very close. Been at it for 14 months. Usually it takes 1 to 3 years to turn profitable for someone who's like diligently studying, and I've been diligently studying, bro. So I would say I'm very close, like very close, but I'm not gonna mislead people and tell people like I'm for sure profitable, if that makes sense. So yeah, this 1 hour for value gap seems like a pretty clear draw on liquidity or area that price wants to go to now at this point. And I think this might also be a 4 hour for value gap. Yeah, see, oh, we're in a 4 hour for value gap right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we come down to this one. Yeah, I think we're going to go to this 1 hour for value gap, guys. Aw, thanks, bro. Yeah, dude, the idea is we're just gonna keep getting better at this together as a community, and every single day we're gonna work towards profitability. And like, dude, I know it's close. I know it's so close. So but I just want to help people, and I do have a lot of knowledge, and I do understand a lot about the markets regardless. So I just want to help people, you know. And I've been personally like messaging someone who is profitable. So Dodgy, I message Dodgy like every day after I do my trades, and I'm like, Dodgy, dude, here's the trade I took. What do you think about this? And he gives me like a little bit of critiquing. So like I've been getting a little better with that every single day. And dude, Dodgy's very good at what he does. I definitely recommend you checking out Dodgy. He's got like 40,000 subscribers. He's like 1,000 people watching him every day in his live streams. He is very good at what he does. So I definitely recommend checking out Dodgy. I think we're coming down to this 1 hour for value gap at this point, because at this point we've essentially violated all of these PD arrays down here. Like this order block, we're running through this order block. It's like we swept London and Asia's highs, we got an internal sweep. It seems like we're coming down to this 1 hour for value gap. I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Yeah, I I wish I had the videos that I've been making when I first started, because when there's nothing, when you don't have anything and you have to learn it all from scratch, especially when everyone's like, go watch ICT, like go watch CGR. There's like hour-long videos of ICT where he just like doesn't even talk about the concepts. He just starts ranting, and it's like you just want to get to the point. You just want to learn the stuff, and it's so hard when people tell you go watch ICT, but he just starts yapping and he doesn't actually explain it until you get in like 10 videos into his mentorship after watching an hour each. It's like I wish I just had a ton of videos when I first started. I wish I had a ton of videos I could go through and just learn everything. Like that would have saved. That would probably cut off 6 months to a year of my journey to being profitable. Like I'd probably be profitable in like less than 6 months, maybe like 4 months, if I just had the right information at the beginning. And people, for some reason, don't want to give you it. It's so stupid. Like I've made my main focus be like give people the right information and then give it to them all at once. If you could just give people the right information, they could be profitable so much faster. And I have like a ton of information, so I'm like I just gotta start helping people, man. But I'm very close to being profitable. Like especially just being under Dodgy, like him being my mentor. And actually I've been profitable for the last like 3 weeks on one of my accounts. I've been profitable. So like I've been profitable. It's just like I'm not gonna tell people I'm profitable yet, if that makes sense, because I'm not gonna mislead people and give people the wrong idea. But dude, I've been getting so much better. And yeah, it's just nice to have someone that I've been learning from, like Dodgy, because he's so helpful. But I've been mostly trying to stick to inverse value gaps. I know I've done a few videos on breaker blocks and unicorn setups, but like until I'm like really good with it and been watching price action every single day and seeing breaker blocks and unicorns work, I'm not gonna add them into my trading yet until I'm like, okay, I've seen this 10 times, 15 times, 20 times. I know how price is supposed to react here off this breaker block. And then I'll start to implement breaker blocks. I'll start to implement the unicorn setups and that kind of thing. But for now, I'm like, just got to focus on what works for me, and that's been inverse for value gaps. So, yeah, I feel like we're going to come down to this 1 hour gap now. Kind of seems like this is an order block. Yeah. Kind of seems like this is an order block right here. Yep. Why did I highlight this? So this is the final move up that swept liquidity. And this is also the move up where we swept London and Asia's highs. London and Asia made like essentially relatively equal highs, so it makes sense that it's reacting like this. So it swept, and then it got an internal sweep. Did it form an SMT at the highs? Yeah, bro, that would be nice. I hope to make money from it, but also like once I get good at it, I want to teach people. Like I want to keep making these videos and help people, because if someone really wants to learn it and is willing to put in the work, they should be able to learn it. Anyone should be able to learn it, because I feel like the information is not easily accessible. I feel like it's kind of like behind closed doors, and anyone, if they try and explain like their strategy or what they do, they say you have to pay me $100 a month, or they'll say like you have to do this or that, and it's like, or they'll tell you they're like, they'll show you here's my trade, but they won't show you exactly how they entered, and it's so frustrating. Like I know Romeo does this a lot, where he's like, look at this CRT trade, and then he doesn't show like how to do it at all. He just shows the CRT trade, and it's like, that's not helping anyone. I want to actually help people. So yeah, we can see, you see we're pushing back in this order block pretty clearly, and this 1 hour gap seems like the target. We swept London and Asia's highs. But yeah, with these relatively equal lows saved me. They saved me so much because like I wanted to be bullish, but these relatively equal lows were like the defining factor. Where like this breaker block is probably just gonna fail, and it did. It's like there should not be relatively equal lows there. And then we went down. So yeah, we got this internal sweep. I'm trying to figure out, was this an SMT? 935 and 848. Yeah, it is facts. 945. Nine 938 and 952. 938, 952. So this was a lower high. Okay, this was a lower high and a lower high. But what about 938 and 847? 948, 847. So higher high, lower high. Oh yeah, there was an SMT up there. That's interesting. There's a giant bearish SMT. So I bet you this order block's gonna hold. I bet you we're gonna dump straight to this order block. It's like external range liquidity, internal range liquidity kind of thing, where we're gonna dump straight down to this 1 hour fair value gap. Because see how we pushed into this order block? We pushed into this order block here, and this is the final move up that swept liquidity, and then we had an SMT at these highs. Yeah, SMT, internal sweep, external sweep, sweeping London and Asia's highs, pushing into this order block, swept liquidity, and this 1 hour gap is like the clear draw. This is where price is being drawn to. Yeah. Like honestly, this could have been a trade you could have took, but that's not my model really. I'm sticking to inverse fair value gaps. Like you could have maybe taken maybe you could have taken this inverse and then down to this gap. Especially coming off this order block. So this 30-second, once this inversed, we'll see if this would have worked out as well. I bet you we're gonna hold this 1 hour for value gap's gonna hold. I bet you this 1 hour for value gap's gonna hold. Because it's also a 4 hour for value gap too. And we have equal highs above. So I bet you this could even be like a turtle soup where you just like buy this for value gap, but I'm not experienced enough to do that honestly. But yeah, we got equal highs all the way up here. So we'll see what price wants to do. But at this point, it looks pretty clear that we're going to this 1 hour fair value gap. I mean, we're almost there. But we'll see. And also, is this like a data low? No, it's not. But this is a very clear draw on liquidity, so. High, low, higher high, lower low. This might be a breaker block. That might be why it's reacting like that. I don't know. Yeah, we're so close to this 1 hour fair value gap. Oh yeah, this is definitely a breaker block. That's so clear. Look. Like high, low, higher high sweeping this high, lower low. This is a breaker block. I'm getting better at spotting these, dude. Yeah, here we go. Breaker block. And you see we aggressively react off of it. And now we might dump down to this. We'll see. You think you'll be able to get to the fair value gap? Yeah, I think we're gonna go to the fair value gap. That's essentially what I'm saying. Like at this point, like the way we reacted off this order block, it's pretty clear that we want to run to this internal liquidity. So I would say yeah, we're gonna go to this fair value gap like right now, like very very soon. If not right now, then it's gonna happen soon. Also, like, we're sweeping sell side, so, like, we might get, like, a sweep and then maybe another sweep into this fair value gap, and then this fair value gap is the low for this buy model. Hopefully. Are you in a trade right now? Yeah, just good to be able to figure out price action. With this SMT though and this internal sweep, I think it's very high probability we're gonna go to this fair value gap. Like very high probability. Like there should be no reason why we don't go to this fair value gap. But we'll see. We'll see. The breaker block did not hold. Yeah, I totally get what you mean. What is a fair value gap? A fair value gap is, I'll show you an example of one. So a fair value gap is when you have sequence of 3 candle bodies. So like this, and I'll show an example on the chart. We have 3 candle bodies, and the wick of the candle body before and the wick of the candle body after don't overlap, and they leave an empty area in between. So it's a gap between highs and lows, and I'll show this I'll show this a little better in a second. But this area in between these candle wicks from before and after, this is the fair value gap, and it's basically like price is drawn to these fair value gaps, especially when you go onto the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily. Price comes back to these fair value gaps, and it's like a magnet. It like perfectly comes back to these fair value gaps, holds support, and then continues lower. Or if this was a bullish fair value gap, it'd push back into this fair value gap and then continue higher. But this is a bearish fair value gap, so this would be like push down and then hold here and then go lower. So I'll show you an example, right? There's like a million examples on the chart. They're everywhere. So we had this happen yesterday where let's see. I think there was an example yesterday. This 1 hour for value gap. So see this gap between this high, this low, and this high on the 1 hour. Then I go down into the 5 minute, go down into the low time frame, and you see how price comes in and then holds this fair value gap as support and then continues higher. This fair value gap on the higher time frame dictated what happened on the lower time frame, this 1 minute. The 1 minute held this 1 hour fair value gap, and then it continued higher. So, pretty cool. But like I said, I think we are going to go to this 1 hour for value gap. Just kind of, it's just a matter of when, because we don't have to go straight there, but I do think we will go there. So we'll see. But I could show you more examples if you want, but they're everywhere. It's really cool. Like, it works on all time frames. Like, if I zoom out to the weekly time frame, check this out. You have this weekly fair value gap, and then where did price find support? In the weekly fair value gap. You had this weekly fair value gap. Where did price find support? In the weekly fair value gap. See, the higher the time frame you go, like, it gets even more obvious that this is happening, where these fair value gaps will hold and price will continue higher, or price, if it's a bearish fair value gap, price will continue lower. So and then when a fair value gap is disrespected, we call that a inverse fair value gap. So to see how this held this fair value gap, when a fair value gap is disrespected, this is an inverse fair value gap, and this means if there's a candle body closed below, this is the model I use to trade, right? Where if there's a candle body closed below an old fair value gap, then price is probably going to go to the next swing low, or if this is to the upside, then it's probably going to go to the next swing high. So anyway, so we had this SMT internal sweep, and now we are pushing down to this 1 hour gap. But we do have equal highs above, so we'll see when we get there. Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, let me know. yeah, you can see how this happened like this, where we came up, we had a break in correlation at these highs, we swept this high, and then we swept London and Asia's high, and then we continued to lower. So I'm going to get rid of that now. We'll see if we come down this 1 hour for value gap. Like, I think we should, but we'll see. Especially with this SMT here, I think it's very high probability we go to this 1 hour for value gap. Because you don't just get an SMT and sweep London and Asia's highs and then not go down to the internal liquidity, especially with this kind of a draw on liquidity, right? And I bet you, so there's 11 a.m. is like a key time for reversal, right? So a lot of time you will see price come into a higher time frame key level, like this 1 hour for value gap, and it will happen at 11 a.m. And so when it happens at 11 a.m., you can expect, if this is hitting this level at exactly 11 a.m., that's like light bulb. The market's gonna reverse there. Like, there's so many examples of this happening. It's like 11 a.m. reversal happens all the time. I'm not gonna be able to find one right now, but yeah, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. But I think we're gonna come to this gap probably around towards 11 o'clock. So I might not really get a trade today, but that's okay. Wonder if there were any trades you could take. The main trade that I think you could have taken, I outlined. I talked about it. I was like, basically I was saying, like, I was talking about this breaker block, but this is a better breaker block, where you had this high, low, higher high, lower low. No, this was the breaker block I outlined. And so, anyway, you would enter here, stop loss above the high, especially with the SMT, right? And then you would target these equal lows. That'd be the main draw on liquidity. So this is like the trade of the day. Unfortunately, I outlined it, but I didn't take it because I'm just not taking breaker blocks right now. But this is definitely the trade of the day. You can see equal lows here. So equal lows here. Oh, this 30-second inverse would have been nice. It's too bad. I wasn't looking on the 30-second. But this would have been nice. Probably even get better risk reward on this 30-second inverse for value gap. But this is coming off of the breaker block. Internal sweep, SMT, and then 30-second inverse down to this low, these equal lows. So you can see it's very easy to spot these after they happen. The challenge is now you gotta spot these in live time, and you can't miss them. And I outlined this trade, but I yeah, I did. No, I did outline this trade, so it's pretty cool. I just didn't take it, right? Because I'm not confident enough in breaker blocks, in my skill with breaker blocks yet to take these. But now this is interesting. We swept this high. We swept this high. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna come down to this 1 hour for value gap. It's coming. Here it comes. Yeah, so I guys, I bet. How much you want to bet that this 1 hour for value gap holds? Because it's also a 4 hour for value gap. This 4 hour for value gap holds, and then we come back to these relatively equal highs. I bet you that's what's gonna happen. This 1 hour, 4 hour for value gap's gonna hold. It probably happens at around like 11. So this is we're gonna get 11 a.m. reversal here. I mean, I'm not trying to like say that it has to happen, but I could definitely see that happening. And we are coming down to this 1 hour for value gap. I should probably not make predictions like that, because then if I'm wrong, then it's like then I'm gonna like have to lose credibility because I say something stupid. So I'll probably just stop saying stuff like that. But yeah, it's very typical for it to just come to this 1 hour for value gap and then reverse at 11. Dang, imagine if you held this to this 1 hour for value gap though. You got in at the breaker block. This would have been a great trade. This would have been the trade of the day, right? Because you get in your breaker block entry, you got your internal sweep. So okay, guys, you have equal lows here. Yeah, this would have been an amazing trade. So you had equal lows. You have this 1 hour for value gap. You're sweeping London and Asia's high. You're sweeping this high. You got an SMT. You got an internal sweep and an external sweep. So external sweep, internal sweep, SMT, push back into the breaker block, and then that's your entry, stop loss above the high, take profit at the fair value gap. This is the trade of the day right here. And this would be like a 3.5 to 1 risk reward trade. So not too bad. Guys, we hit 100 subscribers. Not just that, we hit 102 subscribers. That's crazy. 102 subscribers. It's so cool. Like I said, I think we're going to get to the fair value gap probably around 11 o'clock. Because that's usually around... the time you expect a high time frame reversal is around 11. And it's lining up to hit the fair value gap probably around 11. You can see we have... let's see. Yeah, this 30-second inverse would have been great. I wish I saw this. This is honestly, this is the trade that I should have took. So, the trade I should have took was this 30-second inverse coming off of this breaker block. Unfortunately, I was not looking at the 30-second, but this would have been the trade of the day. Actually, yeah, this definitely would have been the trade of the day. Stop loss here, probably like a 1-to-1, 1.3 to 1. But this is very clear what the drawn liquidity is. Very clear inverse fair value gap coming off of a breaker block. Like this is nice, and you could even have your stop loss here. This would have been nice. Super solid trade. 2-to-1 risk reward trade. You had SMT, you had a sweep, you were coming off a breaker block, you got 30-second inverse fair value gap down to the equal lows. This is the trade I'm going to do in my trade recap. This is the trade of the day. We're getting another SMT, I think. Yeah. So we're getting an SMT. If this closes below, this is valid. Dang it. Yeah. So I needed to have my stop loss a little higher. So now we closed below this, so this seems like this should even be higher probability now because we closed below this. I should have had my TP here, but I thought that the TP, having a TP at the gap, would be fine, and it might be, but. Yeah, I should have had my T. Even though the drawn liquidity is here, this is a more confident target. But anyway. Alright, TP hit. And I know I got rid of this trade right here because I got stopped out, but I hadn't got stopped out actually on my account yet. So it's probably like It's like a one for me. It was like a 1.4 to 1. Anyway, this price reacted off of this 30-second gap. So I'm gonna ask. I'll ask Dodgy about this one, guys. I'll let you guys know whether he likes this one or not. But we had an SMT here. We're in a higher time frame bearish trend. This is the clear drawn liquidity. We had just like a giant. This was just a giant like. Bearish model right here, and so it's just like seemed pretty clear that we were gonna go to this 1 hour gap. Anyway, the 1 hour gap has been hit. I'll ask Dodgy about this trade, but good trade. Good trade. One trade a day. One trade a day. So, anyway, 7 minutes left. I'm gonna go to the bathroom again. Yeah, so I asked Dodgy about the trade, and I will let you guys know what he says. But I did take this trade on my account. This was a win for me. It was like super small win, like 1.2 to 1. I know I did this with my stop loss, but my stop loss you're not gonna believe it. My stop loss on my actual account was up here. I just misplaced this right here, and you can see that it would be better to have my stop loss here because you have this fair value gap that's supporting price. You need to have your stop loss above the fair value gap, so I should have had my stop loss here anyway. And so this was a win for me. It was about like 1.4 to 1, but it was a win. So good trade. And every day we're getting better. So very, very cool. We got 3 minutes left, but we did hit this 1 hour gap at around close to 11 a.m. And I bet you this is 11 a.m. reversal. Would not be surprised at all. So anyway, this 1 minute gap inversing would be not a bad trade too, especially with this being 11 a.m. But I'm done for the day. But imagine you take this 5 to 1, 5.7 to 1 risk reward trade. Anyway, I'm done for the day. Staying disciplined. And yeah. One minute left. Alright, it's 11 a.m. so I'm going to end the stream, but we hit our objective at 11 a.m. just like I said we would. Pretty crazy, but anyway, I will see you guys in the next one.